Welcome back to It Was Always Jesus. I'm Antonio. 40 years of wilderness wandering are over. Moses is gone. And now a new generation stands on the eastern bank of the Jordan River, looking across at the land God promised their great-great-grandparents. Episode 7. Joshua and the Conquest of Canaan. Every promise kept. Joshua had been Moses' assistant for decades. There through the plagues, through the Red Sea, through Sinai, through all 40 years in the desert. He was one of the two faithful spies who had urged Israel to trust God and enter the land. Now, at the death of Moses, God said to him, "Moses, my servant is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give to them. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Strong and courageous. That phrase echoes 4 times in the first chapter of Joshua alone, not because it would be easy, but because the God of the universe was going before them. And here's how the conquest began. Not with swords drawn or battle plans laid, but with the priests stepping into the Jordan River while it was at flood stage. God told Joshua to have the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant step into the water. The moment their feet touched the river's edge, the water stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap far upstream, and Israel crossed over on dry ground. Sound familiar? Just as God parted the Red Sea for their parents, he parted the Jordan for this generation. God was establishing Joshua's authority in the eyes of the people. "Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you." They set up 12 stones from the riverbed as a memorial, so that when their children asked, "What do these stones mean?" they could tell the story of God's faithfulness. The first target was Jericho, a fortified city with massive walls, militarily unassailable. God's battle plan: march around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, march around 7 times, have the priests blow their trumpets, and have the people shout. It made no military sense, and that was the point. Israel obeyed. On the 7th day, 7 times around the city. The trumpets blew, the people shouted, and the walls of Jericho collapsed, except for one section where a scarlet cord hung in the window of a house on the wall. Because inside that house was a woman named Rahab, who had hidden the Israelite spies, risked her life for them, and asked them to spare her family when Israel came. The spies said, "Hang a scarlet cord in your window, and you will be saved." Rahab, a Canaanite woman, a prostitute, who was saved by faith and a scarlet cord. And she didn't just survive. She was welcomed into the community of Israel. She married an Israelite man named Salmon, and her son was named Boaz. And Boaz will play a crucial role in the next episode. And more than that, Rahab appears in the genealogy of Jesus in the first chapter of Matthew, a Canaanite woman who hung a scarlet cord in her window and ended up in the family line of the Son of God. God's grace has always been bigger than boundaries. The conquest of Canaan was long and difficult. Not every battle was as miraculous as Jericho. Though one battle saw the sun stand still in the sky to give Israel more daylight to finish the fight, city after city fell as Israel advanced through the land. But Israel never fully obeyed God's command to drive out all the inhabitants of the land. They made compromises. They left pockets of Canaanite culture in their midst. And God warned them, "Those you leave will become thorns in your sides and traps for your feet." The warning would prove prophetic. Joshua divided the land among the 12 tribes. Each tribe received its inheritance. And near the end of his life, Joshua gathered all the people together and gave them a final challenge. "Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve," he said. "Whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." And the people answered, "We will serve the Lord." It was a solemn moment, a renewal of covenant. The people standing in the land God had promised, making a vow to the God who had brought them there. Joshua died at the age of 110 years, and the Bible says Israel served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him, and who had experienced everything the Lord had done for Israel. But what would happen when that generation was gone? The land had been given. Every promise God made to Abraham about the land, the nation, the blessing, was coming true. The book of Joshua closes with these words, "Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Everyone was fulfilled." Everyone. God keeps every promise, always, even when it takes centuries. Next episode, the generation that forgot. What happens when people stop telling their children about God? We'll walk through the dark and turbulent era of the Judges and meet some of the most colorful characters in all the Bible. I'll see you in episode 8.